Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport. My name is Dan Davis, and I'll be bringing you all the action live once again here for the penultimate round of the season. And a bit of a quiet round this evening, as we've not got many drivers here tonight. We should be looking at 16 drivers in total this evening, so should be an interesting one nonetheless. Yeah, championship is, I was going to say, hottening up, as once again the MSA boys are sadly not here this evening, so the door once again opens wide for other drivers to take the opportunities while they can. I am going to try my very best. I think I've got the verge of a migraine coming, so I am going to try my absolute best to try and go as long as I possibly can this evening. But the screens are giving me a rather bad headache, and obviously the sound in my ear as well. But like I said, I am going to give it a very good go, and we'll try and get through this evening. If not, Matthew Duffin is on hand, ready to take over once my head decides to go bang. Like I said, a good evening to everyone, and looking forward to a great night's worth of racing here this evening. It is going to be fun, it's going to be interesting, and I said we're here at the Circuit of the Americas for the penultimate round of the season. And as you can see at the top of the session there is Mezin setting the pace at the moment with a 23.4, 1 second faster than Wilbrink in that second place position. As I said, the MSA boys are choosing not to be here this evening once again, so that opens the door up to the next championship contender, and that is the man that's currently in the pits at the minute, sat P4 on the board. That is Post, who is fourth on track, but is second in the championship, and is catching O'Reilly. There's no McGowan or Skunky either, so the door literally is wide open for Post here to gain some decent points and possibly stop as we got stream issues. I love it when the internet decides not to want to work to its full potential. But yes, we have got Post, who is looking rather quick, only a couple of tenths behind his teammate, but nonetheless he is going to be the favoured now going in towards the end of the season. Harris once again also looking particularly fast here, as is Hibbs and Schwab. But De Monster a bit off the pace. He's also still in the running for this championship as well, with neither MSA boys here to score some points. It is going to be interesting nonetheless. Ken's in the chat, nice to see you in the chat. Evening all, Matthew Duffin, and also John Wainwright in the chat. Nice to see everybody in here. And first things first, let's talk about this fantastic circuit that is COTA, Circuit of the Americas, based here in Austin, Texas. And a circuit that was really designed, obviously for Formula One and in mind, but has been used by many other forms of motorsports as well. So, first things first in the chat, what do we think of this circuit? Are we a fan of COTA? Me personally, I like the idea, I like the concept of taking some of the world's best corners from different circuits and trying to throw them into a track. But I feel like it hasn't really worked with the Circuit of the Americas. Don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic facility, it's a great track, but for me, I find that it's it doesn't seem to flow, it doesn't seem to work for me. It's not a circuit that if I think of American circuits, it's not the first one that really tends to come to mind that I look forward to driving. Obviously, there's a lot of circuits in the Indy cars like to go to that I would prefer to race at. But for me, it was never really an interesting circuit. Nice track once you get a handle of it. Track limit's broken though. I totally agree, John. A massive agreement there. And I think that's the big issue with this circuit, especially on ACC. If I actually go on board with Post, as we come up to the top of the hill, I love the layout. The track limits are pure torture, says Ken. So yeah, that's the problem that we're having. As we're on board with Post now, as you come into the chicane, or not the chicane, the Silverstone section, the Maggots and Beckett section, although your tyre is still technically on the curb, you're crossing the white line. Once you cross that white line, it immediately says invalid. Now, the natural racing line is to actually take the curb. So it's actually, like I said, the track limits here are broken. And I do think the game is a little bit too harsh. If you took the Maggots and Beckett section at Silverstone the same way you would here, then you don't get as many track limits for it. So yes, there's grass, which obviously helps slow the car down, but I find that this game is a bit too harsh when it comes to that. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy who plays the game. But I do find that corner is quite bad for track limits. Obviously, the very nice picturesque top of the part of the hill, where you see the American flag in the background and the tower. Obviously, that left-hander coming onto the towards the final part of the hairpin. That's another one for track limits. And of course, so the penultimate corner, probably one of the worst ones in general. I think the final corner, penultimate corner, sorry, is very easy to get wrong. Post now currently in the final sector, so he's going to get to that penultimate corner. It's very easy to throw the car in and think, yes, I'm going to get grip, I'm going to send it to the inside, and there's going to be, and the limits are going to be fair. But they're not. Again, another part of the track where you just have to be careful. You cannot abuse the track limits there. And it's going to be very interesting to see how these guys, especially in the M2s as well, the cars light obviously push the limits, right, go to the ragged edge, and I think you'll see here where they'll just struggle a little bit. That's a lot of people not a big fan of COTA, even Hypertech in the chat there saying that he's just got the sick emoji. Yeah, so he's not a keen lover of this track either. Like I said, there's better circuits in America that I would rather drive. Long Beach, as an example, is one I would prefer to race at. Even Road America, and as a kid, I detested Road America, and I still would prefer to race there than I would here. I'm trying to think of other circuits in America. Sonoma is a massive circuit that I would prefer to race. Laguna Seca, obviously, is another iconic one. Indianapolis. So there's definitely more circuits that offer more opportunities and better racing, I think, rather than COTA. But anyway, the main focus here tonight, obviously, is the M2s, aka the Whodarron Cup Championship. Like I said, no MSA once again, so door is wide open. And especially for the Apex Motorsport guys, this is a great opportunity to score some good points. And with that in mind, let's have a look at the standings. It is Kieran O'Reilly who leads the way, 88 points ahead of Ian McGowan, who's in second, who also isn't here. That means that Post sats third in the championship. He's 129 points behind. Good haul of points. Very limited number of drivers here is going to allow him to gain some decent points here. The Monster currently sat P4 with Schwarber in P5. Silth now down to P6 as Hibbs in P7, Skunky P8, Harris P9, and Flop rounding out the top 10. Wilbrink in 11th, Maiga in 12th, and Varga still mathematically in the championship hunt. And is Varga on the grid tonight? No, he's not. So that means, yeah, he is. So Varga will hang in there towards the end of the evening. Ramsdale sadly knocked out of the championship, as is Mezin in that 14th and 15th place position. Korski in 16th, Marston in 17th, Crespo 18th, and Nugamanov in 19th. Aberdeen in 20th with Anderson in 21st. Wright in 22nd with Gillies 23rd, Lee in 24th, Smith 25th, Schwarski 26th, with Millington 27th, Paro 28th, 29th is Jacker, 30th is Johnson, Radek in 31st, Crack in 33rd, O in 34th, Stardog 35th, Leach 36th, Langley 37th, and Butcher rounding off the grid. As the guys are now coming to the end of their session here. Anderson still out on track. Who else as well? Smith as well, doing it for the Billy No Mates. So that's your championship standings. Like I said, O'Reilly leads gold. Leading the silver is Wilbrink, and leading bronze is Marsden. Marsden is here, so that bronze championship is still going to go right to the very end between him and Anderson. Regarding the championship standings, MSA still lead the way, 134 points ahead of the casuals. Apex Motorsport sat in P3 of Autobahn United in P4, and only side is in P5, still mathematically in this championship as well, as we just now wait for Smith to complete his lap. Sixth in the championship is Greasy Bandits, ahead of GBU Racing, SimPlay Racing in 8th, Kozak Racing in P9, Team FBGB in 10th, Minax Racing in 11th, Soldor Racing 12th, Quantum Motorsport 13th, Billy No Mates 14th, Vulcan Sim Hub in 15th, and Team SBR never getting off the line. So those are your championship standings. Regarding the weights for this race, O'Reilly's would have carried 40 kilos, 35 would have gone the way of McGowan, and Post is going to carry 30. DeMonster's carrying 25, Schwarbert's carrying 20, and Hibbs will carry 10. So those are the guys that are still here and are racing this evening. As now drivers leave to do their session, as Varga nearly drops the rear, which is a great start for him, as does a few others. But it is Hibbs who's going to get out on track first in his lovely Greasy Bandits Racing colours as he heads up towards turn number 1. It's a very long lap here, and that means it's going to take the guys a while to get round and set a lap time. Obviously 10 minutes for this first session. A reminder how this works is 3 sprints, 3 20-minute races. First one is going to have a 10-minute qualifying session, and then the next 2 is only going to have 7 minutes as well. Less cars on the grid as well, so that's going to make it a lot easier. Less concertinaing up in the final corner. So let's see how it goes. Hobtech in the chat saying, I say I hate COTA, but I always seem to do well here. That's weird, isn't it? It's like I hate British circuits, but I always tend to do quite well at them. So yeah, always the way, innit? The track that you don't like, you end up doing really well at. Isn't that right, Matt, for Bathurst? So as everyone now leads on to their qualifying session, guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. And have a look at our fantastic sponsors as well. Design Manchester and Audio Sport. All their information and links are in the description below. Yes, the season may be coming to an end very, very quickly with only 2 rounds left, but there are still opportunities for you guys to get involved in the new year, and over the off season as well. We will possibly have some fun events happening as well. So make sure you're involved in that. Make sure you follow us on the Sim Grid, and once you've done that, get yourselves into the Discord. Once you're in the Discord, then you are able to do a hot stint. With the hot stint done, we will then put you in the correct category. Once you're in the correct category, then we'll obviously then put you into the championships ahead. Obviously, looking like ACC is the place to stay for the minute. Obviously, sadly, with not the best starts for PMR, but there is hope. There is still a chance that it is going to be coming good, and obviously developments are all currently coming in, and so is updates and changes being done. So fingers crossed. Hopefully, in the new year, PMR is something that we might lead to in the new year. But as of right here and now, we are live, we are racing, and we are underway here in qualifying, as Hibbs is going to be the first man to set a lap. And I think with this circuit, it's just all about having a little bit of patience and just get a lap on the board. Don't push the limits, just get that lap on the board and then build from there, and try not to take the limits too much. Stay within the white lines, basically. Do not cross the white lines, as Mez's got a bad internet connection there by the looks of things. So not going to go on board with him for a minute, just to make sure that it doesn't conk out. But Hibbs is the man who's going to be setting the pace start off. Flop's just behind him. Harris is in the middle of all that pack, so it's the 23. Is it 23? I can't read. It's the 33. So DeMonster is then going to be the third car to set the pace. And then it's the 20 of Schwarbert. And then the 95 of Anderson. So not only are the drivers up for grabs here, but also the teams is looking very much like it's coming down to the wire. The points gap can be cut down. There's plenty of points on offer for everybody on this grid. Mez's internet starting to calm down a little bit, which is good to see. But Hibbs coming into the middle sector now. Like I said, it's a long lap for these M2s. Half the session's already been gone. And yeah. I can't say if I like it or not, as not even done one lap. Same as Indy 2. McGowan, how come you're not racing tonight? That's another question. Why? Is it because of, obviously due to the Christmas period, a lot of people might be busy and working, so it could be that. But just interested to know, is it a circuit that is maybe not his particular favourite? Maybe, I don't know. I'm just making rubbish up now. But anyway, Hibbs comes out of the final corner. He's going to set the pace, and his lap time is going to be a 25.0. Flop gets within under a tenth of him. So does the Monster as well. So very, very close lap times here, as Schwarbert does not set a lap time, and there is the issue. Donington next week should be fun next week. It should be indeed, and obviously with the weather that we've been having, it could get spicy. Harris continuing his pace in these M2, seems to be finding a little bit of something here. Goes top of the session. There's a couple more cars come to a line post only with a P5 of that one, and will bring, so there's definitely more time in the Apex Motorsport, guys, for sure, as Marston crosses the line, currently second, and losing out to his rival in the bronze category. Myga not set a lap time, nor has Lee, so everyone's crossed the line so far, and lap time's still yet to be set. And we look to this man, Mezin, next one to come to the line. It's been on a little bit of a tear. In the dry, he looked really good at Kyalami. But when the rain came, Harris seemed to have the better of him. As he goes into the final sector now. Obviously, speaking purely out of experience of driving GT3s, for me, this is the section that I find the hardest to get right. The final sector, probably the only car that I've really driven around here in anger is a car that does not like this sector anyway. So, yeah, a sector of patience. But I think it's probably going to be the same for these M2s. The car won't rotate very well. It struggles to grip up. So, yeah, we'll see how these guys get on with that set. It should offer some great racing, especially for these M2s, but we shall see. Mezin was top of the free practice session. He's now going to exit the final corner. Is this going to put him top of the session? It does indeed, a 23.7, but Harris is close. Lee crosses the line and does not set a lap time. So we go back to the rest of the group, and it is Hibbs who comes to the line. No improvement. Will Flop improve? No. Then it's the Monster. Is he going to find improvement? He does, to go third fastest. Schwarbert did not set a lap time previously. Is he going to set one this time? He does. Where does it put him? Only 10th. Anderson with a good lap time puts him up to 7th. Lap time's improving. Harris didn't improve on that one, so he's going to stay where he is for the moment. Now we've got Post. Myga finally gets a lap time on the board. He goes 8th. Varga goes 11th. Can Post improve? Wilbrink did. He went to 5th, and then Post gone to 3rd. It's a good lap time from him. Smith now to the line, and he gets a lap time on the board. Marsden, can he get closer to his bronze rival? He cannot, so he stays where he is. And Matt Wright now finally coming out onto the track, but I think it might be too little too late. It's going to take a lot of effort to get around, but it is currently Mezin, fastest man of the session so far. And can Harris get any closer to him? That is the question. So yellow flag going in a final sector. That is Hibbs, I believe, returning to pit lane. So, not Hibbs, sorry, that's a different number. That is... not sure who that actually is. My eyesight's really playing up on me. It's not Harris, it's not Post. It is the Monster is in the pit lane. Who else is in there? As is Schwarber, so they're done. I think a few others are just struggling. Matt Wright's gone round and he's in the wall. So Matt Wright just struggling here to get back to terms with these M2s. But Mezin currently 23.7. He should get another lap on the board as he now comes into the final corner. And can he extend on the gap? Pretty much 0.3 of a second separating him and Harris is done. He ain't going to improve. Here comes Mezin. Does he improve? He does. And extends the gap to just over half a second. Lee now to the line. Has he put a lap time together? He has. And it's good enough for 12. Hibbs now to the line. He will get one more lap out of this. And he goes P5 with that one. Flop now to the line. Stays where he is. And now we wait for Anderson. Varga has now stopped on track. He is done, as is Marsden. Here comes Anderson to the line. And no improvement from him either. The 666, that is Maiga. Now we're now looking towards out the final corner he comes. And what's this going to be? An improvement? It is, and it puts him 7th. And ahead of guys who have already set a lap time. Will Brink now to the line. He's already in the pits. Post doesn't improve and stays P3. Smith now coming out of the final corner. He's going to set a lap time. Is he going to get ahead of Marsden? No, he does not. He gets closer though, but does not get ahead of Marsden. Just Mezin and the 31 of Hibbs. Lee has already invalidated his lap time, so he won't get to complete this lap. As we now come to the end of this qualifying session. Unless Hibbs can find an absolute stormer of a lap time right here and now. I really don't see Mezin being outdone here. As Wainwright saying, a great effort there from Anderson, very much so indeed, and really does help his fight in the Bronze Championship. Is Mezin going to try and rub salt into the wound? That is the question. He comes into the penultimate corner. Hibbs is done. He crosses the white line and he is done for the session. And it is Mezin on pole position once again for the first race here at Circuit of the Americas. So a good qualifying session there. Anderson, a great effort to get ahead of some of the gold drivers as well. Near enough out qualifying most of the silvers as well. So Anderson towards this end of the season has found some decent pace and has really been on a charge with the guys around. It's a little bit of a shame that the grid is a little bit smaller than we are used to, but either way I'm sure it will still bring some interesting racing, and we look forward to a great scrap. Obviously, up to turn number 1, Mezin and Harris are going to be fighting hard to try and get positionings. But I do think that Mezin is going to look the strongest going up towards the hairpin. Guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. Anderson in the chat, good luck, everyone. And good luck indeed to all the drivers, and best of luck for this one. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. And also have a look at our fantastic sponsors as well. Design Manchester and Audio Sport as well. All their information are in the description below. And Design Manchester, producers of vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, mugs, printed clothing, and much, much more, including SimPlay merchandise. A great opportunity for people to finish off their Christmas shopping. And then you got Audio Sport as well, manufacturers of VW, Transporter, T4 Audio Solutions, and styling products as well. Head over to www.audiosport.co.uk. Have a look at our socials as well: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok as well. As we try and stay on top of all of the results and posts as well, mainly on the Instagram account. Anderson scary stressing about the track limits. They are bad here, and whether or not we're going to get multiple drive-throughs will be interesting to know. But Mezing is going to lead them away, and let's have a quick run through of the order. So it is Mezin who starts on pole position, ahead of Harris in second. Then as Post, who will be started third in that championship positioning. Score some decent points. The Monster as well, not too far behind, with Hibbs in P5. P6 will be Will Brinks at Apex Motorsport, still gaining some good points. Myga in 7th, with Flop in 8th. Anderson helping the only siders stay in the championship hunt in 9th. Ramsell in 10th, with Varga in 11th. Lee starting in 12th place position, with Schwarbert in 13th. Marsden in 14th, with Smith in 15th. And Matt Wright bringing up the rear in 16th place position. Like I say, guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. Track is still fast, so we're not at the optimum grip. So we'll see how they all get on with the lack of grip. Obviously, they put in some decent lap times, but it is all down to the first couple of laps around here. Like I said, season coming to an end though, which is a shame. Which we do get to the exciting part of the season. We start to crown champions. We start to see who is going to be the top dog in all of this, and yeah, possible new champions, possible drivers staying champions, teams obviously opportunities to hold the crown for a couple of seasons, but we shall see how things go. Like I said, some fun events coming up soon. Make sure you keep an eye on the Discord, the socials, and all that stuff as well. As I just really looked at the clip on the YouTube, Harris dropped the rear, ended up in the wall, so that's not going to help him out at the start. Do track limits work on these cars? Lol. I think they should. I think they should. If not, I think some drivers might be unhappy. Right, so coming to the final sector now. I didn't even do a poll on that. Yeah. Who is going to win the first race? That is the question. After seeing Harris put it in the wall, I think most people will probably look to the Mezin to win this one. Because I think Harris just lined up the rears a little bit too much and then put his car in the wall. But they now enter the final corner as we now wait for starters orders here. Penultimate round of the season. We are here at COTA as we now wait for starters orders here. And we are green and go, racing here in Texas, as Hibbs has had a great start and he's already looking to go down the inside of Post into turn number 1. And they manage all to negotiate turn number 1 relatively well. A couple of guys choosing to go on the exit as Marsden's had a spin and drops to the back of the pack. But Mezin gets the start he wanted and off he goes. Harris, meanwhile, probably with a little bit... Oh, contact there, Hibbs and Post coming together. and Post losing out there as they go through the S's section. Has everyone else managed to negotiate it through there? Yes, they have. It's just Marston who drops to the back of the pack. But it's Hibbs who's holding up the pack behind as Harris tries to go with Mezin. But like I said, that early warm-up lap ended up in the wall and damaging his car, so he's really going to be hampered. Wilbrink got the jump on DeMonster as well, so DeMonster has not really had the best starts in this one, as there down the inside, Flop gets the position done on Myga. DeMonster has made contact with Flop and drops into the back, and Flop now waits for DeMonster. No, he continues on as DeMonster gets going. Varga's gone facing the wrong way as well, so Varga having an incident there as now Myga's on the attack. Myga now looking to try and go around the outside of Wilbrink, going into the left-hander. But Myga's not going to get far enough alongside to really do anything about it. Meanwhile, Harris has gone with Mezin and has got the pace by the looks of things to attack him. So can Harris give Mezin something to think about? And also, while he's there, he can kind of learn his lines and pick out where he's been quicker. Ramsel, with a decent start, has got himself up in the 7th with all the carnage that's been going on. As Schwarber goes deep and goes wide. There is Flop as well, as DeMonster now to the back of the pack ahead of Varga. Lee's dropped to the back as well, so Lee's had an issue or a moment somewhere. But it is Mezin who leads, but he's got Harris still for company, so Harris is getting the best he can out of this car with the damage by the looks of things. So Harris looking racy. Hibbs, meanwhile, is still within reach. He's only just about 2 seconds behind. So lap times are going to come in thick and fast. And again, like I said, it all depends on if the track limits are really affecting them or not. Up towards turn number 1, Post momentarily looking to the inside. Myga trying to get close to Wilbrink, and Ramsel as well. Just got Anderson for company behind him. But all things... Lee's going straight off, and he's into the wall hard there. It's like he forgot his braking point altogether and ended up in the wall with major damage as... yeah, he tries to recover. Matt Wright, meanwhile, has just slowly worked his way up the order. He's now 12th. So good points gained back for him. As Myga's really giving Wilbrink something to pay attention to in his rear view. So you can see he's trying to get a better run through the final part of... in the first part of the S's in the second sector. But into the hairpin, there you go. Once again, Harris sticking with Mezin, as is Post with Hibbs. So Hibbs getting the early advantage at the start. Gowney Racing might have something to do with having a drink with me earlier. Oh, there we go then. That's probably why. Oh, God. But we still go on board with Post. And he'll want to gain as many points as he possibly can. He knows O'Reilly's not here. And going into Donington Park as well, if he can gain enough points and just either bring the gap down quite significantly or even get ahead, then, yeah, this is, I think there's something like 522 points still available. So if he cuts the gap by quite a bit, then he'll be able to go into the final round really with a mathematical chance if O'Reilly is able to make it. So we'll see. But Post, meanwhile, wants to lick the stamp, put it on the letter and post it and send up the inside of Hibbs, but he can't do at the minute as Hibbs... Oh, there we go. He has licked the stamp and sent it. Down the inside does go Post, and the postman arrives and hands him his package and says, right, now you have to sit behind me for a bit. Mezin, though, looks like he seems to be going into a groove and pulling away from Harris. Meanwhile, Hibbs is looking to come back on the attack. He's going around the outside of turn number 1, hoping that Post to go deep, but he doesn't. He hits his apex and meets the corner. What else is going on? Everyone else relatively clean and fair, but Schwarber and Flop close together, 9th and 10th, and that's where the train starts to come. We got Smith ahead of DeMonster, ahead of Matt Wright, and then ahead of Varga, Marsden, and then Lee. Lee, obviously with major damage, pretty much hit the wall square on. So he's got a lot of work to do. But DeMonster trying to find a way through on Smith now. And he gets the job done with a little bit of force as he gives him a little bit of a shove, but I say that, and Smith goes back through. So DeMonster probably giving up that space and time and falls in behind. As they now head up towards the hairpin. Smith goes a little bit too deep and the rear end steps out as well, so that's going to unsettle his car quite a bit. And we'll go on the rear wing of Smith, and you can see DeMonster just sat right there ready to pounce if he can. And heading towards the left-hander. And DeMonster's not quite close enough to really do anything about it, but it did get a good toe. As just ahead of him, the Auto United barn cars really holding each other up by those things, and cannot find the pace to get close to Anderson, who seems to be holding his own in that bronze category. And with a couple of cars separating him and Marsden as well, so it's good points advantage for him as he tries to bring the championship to a close. It's 116 points between him and Marsden in Marsden's favour. So, yeah, Marsden got a lot of work to do here. Miga still giving Wilbring a little bit of a hard time, but Ramsell kind of in no man's land as we now complete the second lap here with 13 minutes still left to go. Long ass day from swimming at 7 AM, just got back at 8 PM. That drink was nice tips, so I thought I would have another one now. Fair enough. Fair enough. Drinking on a Monday, that's fair. But Mezin leads the way, fastest lap of the race to him, with Harris in second, Post now in third, Hibbs in fourth. Leading silver is Wilbrink ahead of Miga, so that's an interesting fight for the silver class. Ramsell sat seventh, with Anderson leading bronze in eighth. Then we got the two Autobahn United cars, 9th and 10th of Schwarbert and Flop, with Smith in 11th ahead of DeMonster, ahead of Matt Wright, Varga in 14th, Marsden in 15th, and Lee bringing up the rear. So once again, DeMonster trying to find an opportunity to come through. I'm a few more drinks in. I'll be rough tomorrow. On a Monday, lads. Really? DeMonster looks like he might have got the run here. But again, Smith just keeping the car exactly where he needs to. He's not overly defending, and he's not trying too hard either to really hamper DeMonster's attempt there. And down the inside he goes, but he outbrakes himself. And once again, Smith just being a little bit smarter here regarding his positioning of the car. Keeps himself ahead, but Matt Wright is now on the scene as well. So into the slipstream comes Matt Wright, door banging as DeMonster wants to tow, but they're kind of fighting over the slipstream. Matt Wright now going for the attack into the left-hander. Can he get the job done later on the brakes? Smith gives him racing room, but he can't get it done. And Matt Wright cannot get the position. He gets ahead of DeMonster, but he does not get ahead of Smith. So good scrap between them, and Benny Vargas catching onto the back of him as well. Anderson once again just holding up the Autobahn United guys, but they seem to be racing each other a bit more than they're actually hunting down Anderson. So they keep scrapping against one another. Hibbs has once again got a little bit closer to Post. So again, that fight is just ebbing and flowing between one another. I just realised it's not Monday, it's a Tuesday. Wow, it shows how messed up my head is today. There's Hibbs now heading up towards turn number one, not quite close enough to Post. So I have to think better of it. Miga's just dropping back as now we see the Autobahn United guys going at it once again. DeMonster's got ahead of Matt Wright, and that's helped Smith just pull away a little bit more from these guys. Has DeMonster gone in too deep? No, he has not. And Varga now onto the scene. And what can Varga do? I think it's the first time in this lighting that I can see the green of the Varga's car. So There is a dark green to the top of the car, and on most sessions we see it looks black, but in this it does look a bit more green as he goes around the outside of Matt Wright. It's going to open up the next part of the corner, but he is going to compromise his run, and no way through for him. What else is happening as Hibbs once again gets close to Post. Post gets a better exit out the hairpin though, and Hibbs not able to use that pace to his full advantage. Anderson now having to defend a little bit harder as they go into the hairpin. And Schwarbert and Flop have swapped positions now. It was the other way around. Now Flop is going to go on the attack. So can Flop use the slipstream advantage and try and send one up the inside? Wrong button. And he is going to go down the inside. But he's gone too deep, gone too wide, and Schwarbert comes back through, and Flop drops down the order. De Monster, meanwhile, losing out to Smith, and Matt Wright now having to defend from Varga. Back towards the front, Hibbs and Post, separated by less than half a second. So all still to play for these two. One mistake from Post, and yeah, one mistake from Post, and he'll be in the clutches of Hibbs, and Hibbs will pounce. Hibbs wants to finish the season on a high with a podium at least. I don't know if Hibbs has had a podium this season. I'm gonna have a quick look here. No podium for Hibbs this season. So for Hibbs, if he wants to have a podium, I think just to round off the season. But we'll see how he gets on. Mezin, meanwhile, long gone into the distance, 3.2 ahead of Harris. So in a comfortable position for those guys. Once again, Anderson, Schwarbert, and Flop seems to be the scrap. As now, once again, De Monster gets a little bit closer to Smith, but is unable to really put the pressure on him. Through the S's goes Anderson, Schwarbert, and Flop. But through the S's comes Anderson, Schwarbert, and Flop. And into the hairpin we go. This is the first real mistake that I think Anderson's made. Has Schwarbert gone a little bit too deep? He holds on, and Anderson gets a little bit close. Didn't want to make contact and just got a little bit loose on the exit. And finally, Schwarbert has got past Anderson, who was in a good 8th place position. He drops now to 9th. It's still a good top 10 position for him if he can hang in there. But he's looking to come back at him. We've got a yellow flag up ahead. That is Marsden, who has had a spin or had a moment and has been lapped. So he's really been struggling in this one. And with Anderson losing places, it is going to help Marsden out, though. As down the inside comes Flop momentarily, but couldn't get it done. But look, you see the rear end just stepping out the back of Flop's car as they're going wheel to wheel in this tight, twisty section. And Flop isn't going to get the job done. Meanwhile, further behind, De Monster has finally got past Smith. And Varga now onto the scene. He's got past Matt Wright as they're way ahead of Lee, who is in 15th place position. And looks like Marsden returned to pit lane. And once again, Flop looking a little bit loose there. Matt Wright, possible opportunity on Varga. Varga goes wide. That is going to be a track limit warning for him. And he is going to have to give up the position to Matt Wright. He does so. And he stays to the back. Marsden just blown his engine. He's just got an achievement for it. Ah, well done, Marsden. He's blown his engine. Lovely. Nicely done. Meanwhile, Post and Hibbs once again getting close to one another. Half a second, pretty much been separated by them for most of this race. Yeah, I just blew my engine. Nicely done, Marsden. I'm not sure how you managed to do that, but yeah, nicely done. Yeah, obviously they will be asked to show the pace. Show obviously him blowing his engine, so make sure you've clipped that. Yeah. So him still getting close to the back of post. So Hibbs and Post still getting quite racy between one another, and the Monster has now passed Anderson as well, so helps him in the championship, gain a little bit more points back, but Post gaining some good points himself. Smith gets close to the back of him, and Flop has had another moment. He's dropped down the order, so maybe contact with them. Matt, you duffing, that's brilliant. Ourselves in a chat should be repaired in 2 minutes. Nice. And Flop there just seems to be struggling here at COTA. Matt Wright as well just seems to be a little bit off the pace, but out in front quite comfortably at the minute, 4.1 ahead of Harris. And there we see in the background a whole new BMW engine been fitted to the car for Marston as he now returns back on circuit. I think he's actually waiting at the end of the pit lane. He is allowing all the guys to come through and focus on their race. So that's good to Marston, just being patient and waiting for the pack to come through. As now the only side of cars are the only ones really close to one another, and that of Hibbs and Post as well. Obviously, a shame, like I said, there's so many cars missing here this evening, and on a circuit like COTA as well. I think the more cars you have, the more opportunities there are available to drivers as well, and sadly there is not a lot of opportunities here. But Mezin out in front. The gap has come down slightly between him and Harris, so nice to see that gap is still being maintained as such. So we could see with a non-damaged car, we could see possibly Harris maybe take the fight in race 2. They had a great squabble at Kyalami, and like I said, hopefully it will carry on here this evening. But Hibbs, like I said, hasn't had a podium this season. Can either finish the season with one. Post is right there, and he could possibly get him towards the end. Hypertech in the chat, quickest engineers ever fitting a new engine in 2 minutes. Wow. I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking that's a quick engine change, considering that it takes them a while in the likes of Formula 1 and other championships. Meanwhile, a bronze fight. This is interesting to watch, because if Anderson loses some points to Smith, then Marston's going to be a little bit happier, even with his engine blowing up. An achievement unlocked as well. Yeah, I'm quite a trophy hunter and an achievement hunter myself, and trying to get every trophy and achievement on this game is incredibly difficult. I think it's probably one of the hardest games I've ever come across, because it's so dumb. Anyway, Mezin crossing the line, sets fastest lap of the race, and now leads the final lap of the race. Harris now second, and like I said, brought the gap down momentarily. Is Hibbs thinking about sending it into turn number 1? Not close enough, but Post can carry a little bit too much. Post is carrying weight. I forgot to mention that. He's carrying a bit of ballast, so he's got about 30 kilos on board, so it is going to hurt him. And I believe even Hibbs has got some weight to his car as well. Yeah, Hibbs has got 10 kilos. So they knew it was coming. Andy not racing, so jumped in for his car. He's in the T car. As some of the youngsters probably won't know what a T car is. Yeah, deciding, yep, we'll swap cars. Quickly stick a sticker on the side of it that says 420, and off you go. Nice of GBU Racing 2. Oh, yeah, track limits is on. Track limits is definitely on. Oh, Benny Varga gets the first drive through and he's not. Oh, he's gone round. Oh, Benny, no. He's going to lose a couple more positions there. Flop and Matt Wright dropped quite far back in the end. So they've had a mare somewhere. But Benny Varga is going to get himself a drive through and a hefty penalty. Hibbs in the end not quite close enough and able to do anything. So it is pretty much standstill here. As now Mezin comes into the Istanbul right-hander instead of the left-hander. And he's looked pretty dominant in this one. Comes into the final few corners now, sliding the car, and he will add another race win to his name. Mezin comes out at the final corner, so goes into the final corner, and he will carry away left off in Kyalami. A race win in number 1, and it's a race win in this one. Mezin wins here for the first race. Harris, another solid second place for him. Post in the end, hanging in there for P3 and gain some points in the championship. Hibbs for P4. Wilbrink is going to cross the line for that 5th place position. Maiga is going to finish in 6th. 7th is going to go the way of Ramsel, but he was hunted down right at the very end by Schwarber. So Ramsel finishes in 7th, Schwarber in 8th. The Monster come home in that 9th place position. 10th is going to go the way of Anderson, winning the bronze class. Smith coming home for 11th. Then it's going to be Flop for 12th. Varga, realising that he has got a drive-through, will not be able to use it, and will go to the back. Matt Wright 14th, and then it's going to be Lee who rounds him off. Marsden in the end with his Aberdeen ending in the back of the car, comes across the line to take 16th, and Lee rounds off the grid. But it is Mezin who wins the first race, with Harrison second. We'll be right back for the second race. We'll see you in a minute. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are live here in Austin, Texas for the penultimate round of the Whodarron Cup Championship. And as things stands, it is going to go down to the wire at the final race in Donington Park. Micah now comes out of pit lane and he's going to be the first one to set a lap time. 7-minute qualifying session for these guys. Now, 6 minutes and they're already into the second sector. Now, to put that into perspective, the pit lane is so long here, or to get out of the pit lane is so long. By the time they come off the limiter, it's now most of the session is gone. So I'm expecting it's about a 2-minute 30 lap, roughly. Obviously, the quicker guy's doing it in a little bit quicker time than that. So Marsden not going at just yet. So he's definitely probably only going to get a handful of laps in, and I mean possibly 1 lap, maybe 2, if he chose to go out now. But the mechanics are still probably fixing his engine right now. But the championship is deciding, it's hottening up. With no O'Reilly here at the minute, he still leads the way, but Post in second now, only 55 points behind. McGowan's still in 88 behind, but he now drops to third. DeMonster now only 102 points behind. Schwarber 129 points. Hibbs is 205. Harris is not really going to get back in this. And Maiga was, Mezin is still out of the championship and a long way to go yet to even get back into this one. So I doubt we'll see him back into this championship fight. Maiga's had a moment, so he's now lost that privilege of being the first car to set a lap time. They're probably, if it's 2.5 minutes to get around, they're going to get 2 laps at this. 2 laps. Oh, Maiga on my re-looking at the screen. Sorry, I'm reading the thing out. Maiga let a load of cars through. So, obviously, he wants to tow. So now going into the first next couple of flying laps here. Hibbs crosses the line, and he's going to cross the line with 4 minutes and 15 seconds to go. So it is going to be 2 laps from him, I think. So heading up towards turn number 1, Hibbs is going to be the first man to set a decent lap time. Now, it's definitely important for these guys to make sure that those lap times are valid. If they're not valid, then they are in serious trouble. So they really do need to score these early laps here just to make sure they got a lap time on the board. At this rate, Marsden will not get out and do another lap, so he will be done for this session before it even begins. The 78 is that, or 38? That's Post. No, it's not Post. It's 70 something. Is it a 7? Yeah, 78. Will Brink is to the back of the group. He's going to cross the line and he will get 2 laps in as well. So we are expecting everyone to do 2 laps around here. So yes, 7 minutes is tight, but you've got to get that lap time on the board. If the lap time isn't valid, then you're going to be in serious trouble. Being that there's only 16 cars on the grid, you wouldn't have to worry too much. I'm just double checking my phone is charging. Sorry guys, due to the fact that I had no power yesterday and my phone didn't charge overnight until the very last minute. Just making sure that it's alive. So yeah, but Hibbs now comes into the final sector, and as I said, it's a 2.5 minutes, so he's definitely only going to get 2 laps, as will everyone else in this session, including Will Brink, who's at the far end of the circuit right now. So Hibbs, what's he going to do to set the pace? Obviously, we won't know if anyone has actually set a valid lap time until they come to the line. Everyone is blue, usually on the track map, if you see him as blue. They're invalidated, but obviously except for the first lap where everyone's yet to set a lap time. But here comes Hibbs, and it's 24-2. Good start for him. As Flock goes into second. Next to come to the line is Post. He's now 0.4 of a second behind. The Monster goes to P3. Maiga, does he go any higher? No, he doesn't actually set a lap time on the board, so he's in trouble. Anderson crosses the line. He goes P5. And again, Matt Wright not setting a lap time. Post, no, one Post. It was Smith putting a lap time on the board. He goes to 7th. Schwarbert as well. He goes to 5th. And where is Mezin? He crosses the line. He did not set a lap time. So, he's on the back foot. Harris now to the line. He doesn't set a lap time either. So there we go. There's the guys in trouble. They need to make these laps count. And it needs to be a fast one as well. Here comes Wilbrink to go second. So Apex Motorsport looking good up there at the top end. Regarding them in the championship, they're 95 points behind MSA. So big points, big opportunities here, and really looking good for the Apex Motorsport boys going into the final round of the season. Yes, MSA haven't turned up to a couple of the events, but it is still a great opportunity. I think Maiga's done. Yes, Maiga will not get a lap time on the board. He's done for the session. So, here we go then. Hibbs is currently on a 24-2. And he is on provisional pole at this moment in time. Mezin is on a lap, importantly. Schwarbert isn't, and as is Harris. So Harris is on a lap as well. So, where they would have been invalidated, they have got away with it. Lee has not put a lap time on the board, so Maiga will get away with that one. And he'll stay ahead of Marsden as well. But Hibbs to the final corner has kept it all within track limits. And what is this going to be for Hibbs? Exits the final corner, to the line he comes. And he improves to a 23-9. Good lap time. As Flop now goes to second. Post once again gets within close of Hibbs, but cannot get ahead. Demonster though goes top of the session, 0.08 of a second. He takes provisional pole position. Anderson and Matt Wright to the line. Anderson goes 6th, and Matt Wright only 9th with that one. Ramsell gets on the board. He goes 6th. Mezin to the line, and he goes fastest overall at 23-2. We now just wait to see what Harris can do at the final corner. He's 15th currently at the minute with no lap time on the board, but this will be a lap time. And it's only good enough for 7th. So there we go. It is Mezin on pole position once again, ahead of the Monster this time, with Hibbs in 3rd, Post in 4th, Flop 5th, Wilbrink 6th, Harris 7th, 8th is Ramsell, 9th is Anderson, 10th is Schwarber, 11th Varga, Matt Wright 12th, Smith 13th, Maiga 14th, Marsden 15th, and Lee at the back of the pack. Heading into the second race now, guys. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. So I'm now currently doing a poll for you guys. So Mezin another poll and a point to his name. This way he is going to get himself back into this championship fight, be it a lot of points behind, but either way, if he keeps winning like he is, there's loads of points to his name. Trying to figure out what 87 times by 3 is, but yeah. Oh no, migraine yawns. Gotta hate him. So there's a poll for you guys. Get your votes in on who you think is going to win race 2.
20 seconds.
Like I said, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to notify so you don't miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. Have a look in our description below as well for our fantastic sponsors, Design Manchester and Audio Sport. Design Manchester, producers of vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, mugs, printed clothing, and much more, including SimPlay merchandise. Audio Sport, manufacturers of VWT4 audio transporter audio solutions, styling products, and have a look at their website www.audiosport.co.uk and have a look at their Facebook, their YouTube, and all of the above as we now run through the grid order once again for race 2. It is Mezin on pole position ahead of the Monster. Hibbs will start in 3rd with Post in 4th. Flop will start 5th with Wilbrink in 6th. Harris will start 7th. Ramsell in 8th. Anderson in 9th. Schwarber in 10th. Varga in 11th. Wright in 12th. Smith in 13th. Meiger in 14th. Marsden 15th. And Lee bringing them up the rear. As I said, this brings a great opportunity to Post to gain some decent points in this championship. He will go into Donington leading at this rate. If the points he's gaining at the moment, he will be going into the final round with some decent points. I'm actually going to figure out. So there's 261 points available tonight, just at this round. So Mezin's scoring some decent points there. Even if Post, I think, he was like 129 points behind. So Mezin Post gaining some decent points there. So he gained 74 points just in that first race. So if he ended up doing that all night, he'll gain 22 points and he'll go into the final race ahead of O'Reilly. 93 points ahead, from what I can figure out with my maths. Don't know how good my maths are, but that's what you'd be looking at. So we'll just have to see how they get on as they're now into the final sector. That's if Post finished 3rd every race. That's where he would be. At this moment in time, he's going to be starting 4th. So already my maths has already been hindered. But anything can happen. Anything can happen. You might take a race win. You might drop to the back. But what happens here and now is that the championship is still wide open, still opportunities for people to win, and even for the teams, it's looking good. Autobahn United, they're only 191 points behind as well, and again 166 points available. That's 399 points. That's easily back in the championship. Anyway, we wait for starters' orders as they're into the final corner. And we are green and go, racing once again for the second time this evening here at COTA. Down towards turn number 1 we go, and Hibbs once again looking to go down the inside of turn number 1. And he goes a little bit deep, and Mezin goes deep as well. He loses the back end and loses the lead of the race. Hibbs now leads this race, with Post right in the middle of that squabble, and Flop is getting racy as well. So Mezin just taking a little bit too much exit curb, loses the rear end and drops to the back. Hibbs gets the start he wants. That I think was Ramsell going off big time there. Where is the update? There he is. He's got big damage to the front of his car, so he's possibly come together. But Hibbs, with the start he would have wanted, and now Mezin has to try and find a way through. Hibbs not yet been on the podium. Can he get on the top step of the podium? That's the question, as he has a decent start here. Flop, though, is going to try and stick to the back of Mezin, and he goes down the inside. I think he was actually defending from the Monster rather than attacking. But Hibbs, meanwhile, under some pressure. Meanwhile, further back, Anderson has been spun round, so he's going to lose a couple of places here. But Mezin already into the toe, into the slipstream, and it's going to look to attack on the inside. Hibbs momentarily looked to go into defend, but Mezin really close to the back of Hibbs. 18.5 minutes is a long way to go in defending against Mezin. Only shortly he defended from him in the Mustang, and yeah, I lost out pretty quickly. But Mezin here looking pretty racy to try and get that position back. Hibbs staying a bit tighter to the inside, and it's going to compromise his exit, but because he's right in the way, Mezin is not going to find the way through. Meanwhile, everyone else line astern currently, and after the first couple of laps, it is Hibbs who leads the way from Mezin, from Flop, from De Monster, from Post, from Wilbrink, from Harris, from Schwarbert. Sorry, Meiger, then Schwarbert. Then it is Lee ahead of Varga, ahead of Smith, ahead of Marsden, Matt Wright, Ramsell, and Anderson bringing up the rear. Meanwhile, Hibbs and Mezin going at it wheel to wheel. Mezin taking a lot of inside curb there and really bouncing over that curb, and not really able to use the advantage of the exit, because Hibbs had a better exit here as they head up towards turn number 1. And Hibbs sets fastest lap, being he's first to cross the line. Can he just back hit the Mezin back up into the pack, try and get him some breathing space? That's the question, as Mezin, like I said, is still looking very racy. Meanwhile, Harris has got ahead of Wilbrink, so he's got that job done. Wilbrink's had to fall in position, but he's got to try and keep it in track limits. He manages to do so. But Mezin still on the back bumper of Harris. Flop, meanwhile, is really wrestling with the car to keep De Monster behind, and Post as well, as they're all going at it. Smith is still close to the back of Lee, Varga, Schwarbert. They're all still concertinaing up, but Mezin has got ahead of Hibbs already, so Hibbs maybe made a mistake in the S's, and through goes Mezin. So Mezin does get that position back and continues to lead this race. Now, can Hibbs hold on to a top 3 position? He looked good in race 1, so can he continue that form on here? Harris, meanwhile, is one to keep an eye on. Here we go, De Monster and Post. Post and De Monster still mathematically in this championship hunt, and now they're going wheel to wheel, heading down towards the left-hander. Post trying to turn in, but De Monster won't allow him through, and De Monster holds him off. And Harris not quite close enough to really make an attack, as Varga has now got ahead of Lee, and there goes Marsden once again. Hopefully it's not more engine related issues. But Hibbs with a good start. He ended up dropping back behind Mezin though, sadly. But oh, Meiger's had a moment, and Meiger possibly losing the back end of the car, and around he goes, and down the order he goes, and Lee comes through. Will Smith come through? No, he won't. So Meiger losing out there. But Mezin now into the final corner has looked like he started to build the gap. That one little moment he had up at turn number 1 has turned into a moment where Hibbs has lost out here. It's now Flop trying to defend from De Monster, who's got Post there as well. And Harris looking racy also. He's already cleared Wilbrink, Schwarbert not able to go with these guys if anything starts to hold the rest of the pack up. He's got Varga, Lee, Meiger, Smith and Wright all queuing up behind them. And down through the S's they go. Flop getting a little bit closer to the back of Hibbs. But Hibbs, at the minute, got everything under control for that second place. as Mezin starts to push the limits and try and go and pull the gap on the guys behind. Everyone else kind of line astern at the minute. Harris definitely had the pace in the earlier race. He's now onto the back of Post. So can he find a way through on him? Varga still trying to find a way on Schwarber as they both take track limits. Varga, you don't want to be taking too many track limits. You got a drive through last time. So Varga just pushing his luck once again. And Varga right in the toe. Post that fast lap of the race previously as Harris for a moment thought about sending it up the inside. For a moment. But one guy who's going to send it around the outside is Varga. He's trying to outbrake Schwarber, but he can't do so. And Varga has to hold off momentarily as Matt Wright still trying to find a way through on Smith. He's going to try and go around the outside of the Hockenheim section. He cannot at this stage. And that's the fall back in line. Schwarber's gone deep though, and Varga up the inside. And a position gain coming into the Istanbul section. Lee's looking to go around the outside. He won't get it done through there. It'd be tricky. Only really could do that in a high downforce car like an hypercar or an F1 car. Not really in a M2. But Maiga's coming back up the inside. Looking to go around the outside and switches underneath. And Lee goes wide. That's opened the door for Maiga to come up the inside. And no, he's going to try and outbrake him. And Lee goes way too deep. And off he goes. Back to this gaggle of cars. I think Hibbs possibly went a little bit too deep. The rear end just stepping out ever so slightly. Now DeMonster sets fastest lap of the race. Mezin hasn't, and he's pulled away a 2.1 gap. So that shows to me that he's been taking track limits somewhere. And now DeMonster with the fastest lap of the race. As Post and Harris going at it, and Post again wants to keep as many cars behind him as he can to try and help make a healthier gap as it goes to Donington Park. As the monster right on the back bumper of Flop. And tries to get a good exit out of the left-hander, but cannot do so. And Flop goes defensive into the hairpin. The monster cannot get up on the inside, but if he gets better exit, better traction, he will be able to send it up into the next corner. But he gets too tight a line, I think, through there, and has kind of hampered his run a little bit. Meanwhile, further back, Schwarbert's being bullied left, right and centre. Varga is ahead of him. Now is Maiga, and Lee's now got a position ahead of him as well. So a bit of argy-bargy going on in the back. What's happened to Ramsell? He's returned to pit lane. Oh, and there's all sorts of chaos up ahead. That is Flop. He's facing the wrong way. The monster's got ahead. There's Post now dropping behind. Harris has now got ahead of that group as well. So I don't know. There's possible damage to the front end of Post's car. Yes, there is. So that possibly indicates contact maybe with Flop. Outbrake himself maybe and hit the back end of Flop. The monster though, I don't see any damage to his car. So not sure what happened there. But definite contact between them. Or some form of contact was involved. As Harris now puts himself up into P4 with that. Mezit once again not fastest lap of the race. That shocks me, to be fair. I think Mezin might be pushing that little bit too hard. The monster now up into P3 with Harris P4. Started 7th. He's already up 3 places. He's ahead of the 2 Apex drivers. And Flop already up into 7th after being spun around. Varga now defending from Maiga, Lee, Schwarber, Smith and Wright. There's a proper train behind the Hungarian. As they're all trying to find a way through, trying to cap. Oh, Varga's gone off. He's had a snap and into the wall he goes. And Maiga benefits from that one, as will Lee and Schwarber and Smith. and Matt Wright. More importantly, Smith and Marsden and Anderson's championship is hotting up. They were separated by 99 points. And Anderson now losing points once again to Marsden in this one. So Marsden's extending the gap. Oh, don't know what's happening here. Oh, there we go. But Mezin pulling away quite comfortably ahead of Hibbs. Meanwhile, further back, is this racing or is this team orders? Here comes Wilbrink and Post. Is Post going to send it up the inside of his teammate? He is indeed, and Post gains that position and up into 5th place. So we're coming towards the end of this second race. Oh, more contact. Flop is, sorry, is that Schwarbert? Yes, Schwarbert's slow. Lee's facing the wrong way. Through went Varga. Varga went through, so did Matt Wright and Smith. So they've all gained from that. Maiga's also there as well. So that tight fight there has ended up in a little bit of a squabble. And Lee's ended up dropping down the order. And Harris already getting onto the back of De Monster. De Monster. I keep saying Monster, but he's Munster. Up towards the hairpin. Harris not close enough at the minute. The two Apex Motorsport boys, they look like they're getting close, but I think that's just they're racing particularly hard with one another. Drive-through penalty for track limits for Ramsel, and his race just goes from bad to worse in this one. As Varga now still having to defend off Schwarbert. Harris once again, fastest lap of the race for Harris, and again, Mezin not got that fastest lap. Now either he's really being clever with his track limits here and he's only just getting track limits, or so there's two types of things that you would get if you took the limits. You would get a warning. It would come up saying warning for track limits, or you'd get a track limit no time gained. So that basically means that you took the limits, we're going to delete your lap time, but we're not going to give you a strike for it. Now, he's either just getting he's only just getting a couple of like warnings as such, not like warnings, but kind of like, look, don't do that again. But at this minute, Mezin is still leading this race. He hasn't got fastest lap. That's currently gone the way of Harris at the minute. So yeah, all still to play for. Wright has got ahead of Smith. And again, it's just this fight between Harris and De Monster that's really the interest. As I think Wilbrink is just kind of just sat behind Post at the minute, just scoring the points. He's currently leading the silver category, and at this moment in time, Maiga needs some big points to really catch him, and he won't do at the minute. Varga is still in this championship fight as well, but he's dropped to the back. He's in pit lane actually. Does Varga not put any fuel in the car? He's only done 5 laps, so he's probably not put enough fuel in it. This is Wreckfest, not ACC. Learn to rejoin people, please, says Varga. So, no, he's obviously returned because he's had a crash, by the sounds of things. So, it wasn't what I thought it was. Meanwhile, Wilbrink gets close to the back of Post. Is he going to send it into turn number 1? He is. He is going to send up the inside of his teammate. Post wants every point he can get because he's in a championship fight for the championship. And Wilbrink thinks, let's do a Jimmy Bly and get involved in this fight. And in the end, he chose to back out of it. But he's had a better run through the S's. And the two teammates at the minute, they're both in the team's championship as well. So they're scoring big at the minute for the team. And now they think, oh, let's have a bit of a scrap here in COTA. I mean, fair play to them. But, when Marsden and Anderson's come together, and that's interesting as well because that's for bronze. So they've come together. Lee's now to the back of them. Varga's in pit lane. And also had a mind a mind moment to myself. Blame blame to myself too, says Vargas. So Vargas having he's trying to figure out who to blame, either himself or other drivers. But the monster still just tried to hold off Harris. Harris getting closer and closer. Harris at the minute not able to really do anything with it. Meanwhile, Will Brake sending it up the inside once again on post. He's gone way too deep and just gone a little bit too hard, too fast, and had to lose out to his teammate there. Good little scrap between these two, but again, it's just holding up post. Well, he's not really going to gain on Harris, I don't think, and he's not really going to gain on DeMonster unless they have a coming together. But yeah, any contact between these two and they drop down behind Flop and Miga, then that's points less for post to really bring the gap down to O'Reilly. Coming over the line once again is Mezin. Is he going to take fastest lap? He is this time round. So he takes that point back. Here's 5.4. This could be his first podium. As once again, Harris gets within range of the monster, but he can't really mount an attack currently at the minute. Just behind him is the Apex Motorsport boys squabble. Then we go back to the bronze fight as well. Anderson's lost a little bit of time here to Marsden, so Anderson wants to try and gain some points back. He wants to be gaining points, not losing points to Marsden right now. He's gone wide. So this could be the opportunity that Anderson needs. It's down the inside. He goes. Marsden breaks much earlier. Anderson gets it stopped. And there you go. He is gaining points back on them. Wilbrink, meanwhile, still sitting on the back of his teammate Post. And again, Hibbs making sure he keeps that gap separate to him and the monster. It was 2.1. I think the gap's come down a bit more. Was it it's about a tenth that they found. So it's staying steady, but Hibbs, one mistake, and he's in the clutches of these two. Excuse me. Amazing. Again, it's going to start another lap, so we will get one more lap. I think last time around we had 7 laps? No, 8 laps. I can't remember now. But either way, he is going to start another lap here. Not much happening at this stage of the race. As things are quietening down in this race too. Mezin will start the final lap of this race. Heads up towards turn number 1. Pulled well away from Hibbs. The gap has come down between Hibbs and the monster, but I think it's too little too late for the monster. Towards the hairpin they go again. Harris wants to get back. Oh my god, Harris has a big moment on the exit of the hairpin. I was about to say he wants to get back on the podium. He shows it right there how badly he wants to be back on the podium. But the rear end getting a little bit unhappy. Wilbrink, I think, has not got the better of his teammate here of Post and has to settle for 6th place position. But Harris, for a moment there, looking like he was going to attack the monster, but got a little bit excited on the loud pedal towards the end. Varga has come back out on track, and we are going to get everybody crossing the line. But Mezin, another solid race. Lost the lead of the race earlier on, but has been able to get back past Hibbs and pretty much comfortably lead this race from the front. No drive-throughs as well. Only one for Ramsel earlier on. But Yeah, we do know that the track limits will hurt these M2s, which is nice to see. As Varga just ahead allows Mezin to lap him. Hibbs coming across the line now. And the gap has come down quite significantly. It was just over 2 seconds. It was 2.1 at the start of this lap. And Hibbs is now only 1.1 ahead of De Monster. But it will be Hibbs' first podium of the season. Round 9 this is. The penultimate round of the season, and it's taken Hibbs this long to finally get a podium. But we have to look to this man. Anoma, great win for him. Good points. And we have Miss Mesin towards the end of the mid part of the season. Had to sadly take some time out, but he comes out the final corner and he continues where he left off in Alton Park. Another dominant win here for Mezin. He wins and takes fastest lap of the race. Hibbs, though, is going to come out the final corner and get his first podium of the season. De Monster finishes in 3rd. Harris recovering back to 4th place position. Post in 5th. Then it's going to be Wilbrink in 6th. 7th is going to go the way of Flop. Then it's going to be Myga. Then it's going to be Matt Wright in the top 10. Smith for bronze takes another good top 10 position and wins the bronze class as well. Schwarber exits the final corner and to go into 11th. Then it is going to be Ramsel and Varga crossing the line in 15th and 16th. Then Lee is going to recover himself back up to 12th. 12th position in the end for him. Anderson is going to round off into 13th place position. And Marsden in 14th. But another race win once again for Mezin and fastest lap of the race as well. Once again, we're going to go to a short break and we'll be back for the 3rd and final qualifying session and race of the Whodarron Cup. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, into the third qualifying session we go. And yeah, let's have a look at what the standings look like now. And the championship is hotting up quite nicely. As I've lost my controller. There is 87 points available, so I think Mezin is still just going to keep himself out of this championship by the end of the night. But we have a new championship leader, and as I thought it would be, it is going to be this man. Post is now your new championship leader. He now leads by 12 points ahead of O'Reilly, 40 points ahead of De Monster, and Schwarber now 92 points as well behind Post. So the points are going to go to Donington right to the very end. And Maiga now out of the championship hunt, and so will be Skunky after this one. And it is going to the very end. Apex Motorsport also now lead the teams championships, 37 points ahead of MSA. So should be interesting to see how this championship will end. As we see how this third and final qualifying session goes. And right now it is going to be Maiga who is going to set the first lap here. He's to the front of the pack, and they all try and spread each other's out as much as they can. Sorry, I was just replying to a message there, but Maiga is going to be the first man to set a lap. Hibbs is just behind him as well. Marsden once again opting to start from the back of the pack and seeing what he can do from there. But like I said, with the third race now underway, the third qualifying session anyway underway, Maiga is going to be the first one to set a lap time, and like I said, they'll get 2 laps out of this, and they'll see where they go from there. And obviously, like I said, the thing that's been hurting them the most in this session has been the fact that track limits is what's going to hurt them in this qualifying session. If they don't get that first initial banker in, then they've got to be cautious in the second one. They've got to try and get a lap time on the board. They want to make it quick, but they can't push the limits. So you want that secure banker at least on the board so that you can build from there. But Maiga is going to set the pace. As Maiga comes into the final few corners. Excuse me. As Maiga goes into the final corner now. And he's going to cross the line and set a lap time of a 24.2. What is Hibbs going to produce? A 24.1, so he goes slightly faster. Flop goes into third, but Harris goes to the top with a 23.5. That is a decent lap. Post goes second. Hibbs, Matt Wright goes up into there. As Mezin does not go fastest, so Harris at the minute with the advantage over Mezin. Can Mezin find a lap time? We know we can do a 23.2, so they're building the lap, they're building the time up. Varga comes to the line, he now goes 8th. Whereas Ramsell, far end of the circuit. Smith didn't get a lap time on the board. So most cars did manage to get a lap time on the board this time round. It is only Smith who hadn't. So Lee now comes out of the final corner. Is he going to get a lap time on the board? Yes, he is, and it puts him into 11th place. We now wait for Ramsell to come and set a lap, and Will Brink as well. As Will Brink goes into the final corner now. And is this going to be a lap time on the board? Yes, it is, and puts him 6th. Now, obviously, if some of the guys are using the telemetry, they will be able to see that the cars are going to be either up or down on their lap time. So that's another reason why you want to get a lap time on the board, so you can have a delta and kind of see if you're making time or losing time. Some people can overlook at it. Harris can't go any faster. That's his session done. So provisional pole position at the minute. Can anyone else get close enough to that? Like I said, Mesin did do a 23.2, but to the line comes Ramsell. He will get another lap, and he goes 12th with that one. As they all come now towards the far end of the lap. And Maiga now currently 5th at the minute. Leading silver driver. Didn't win the last one though in silver. Came 2nd in that one. But into the penultimate corner. And into the final corner comes Maiga. What can he produce here? To the line he comes. Is he going to improve on 5th? No, he does not. He stays where he is. Will Hibbs find some more time? Hibbs goes fastest of them all. He takes provisional pole away from Harris. Where is Mesin? There he is out the final corner. Is that track limits? I think it will be. And Mesin comes to the line. It is. Hibbs takes pole position. Currently at this moment in time, Vargas back in pit lane. Can Monster deny pole position away? He comes to the line. Only 5th. Schwarber only 10th. So who's still yet to complete a lap? It is just Ramsell. I think, no, Will Brink is the only one to set a lap time. He goes wide. It is Hibbs who takes his first pole position in the Whodarron Cup in the M2s alongside Harris. So Hibbs now pole position, and that's going to be a shock for him. Harris and Hibbs rounding out the front row. I can see Harris already typing in the chat. Probably going to be ecstatic about that one. But yeah. What a qualifying session there. Hibbs taking his first pole. And yeah, seems to be going quite well here at COTA. I'm not going to say any more than that. But here we go. Final race of the evening. Ow. Just banged my elbow. Guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here. But Hibbs taking his first pole position here. And he's got Mesin right behind him. So where he was looking to go up the inside of him in the previous race, it's going to be the other way around now. Post once again still scoring good positionings there. P4 for him. So it could be another one to keep an eye on. He needs those points for the championship. And he wants to make sure he leads here with as many points he possibly can away from O'Reilly. So if O'Reilly does come back on an absolute tear and win every single race, he just needs to score some decent points. As they pull away now, Hibbs is on pole. And what a lap from him. So here's the running order for the third and final race here at COTA. It is Hibbs who's on pole position ahead of Harris in second. Third will be Mesin, then it's Post in fourth place. Your championship leader. De Monsters in fifth, with Maiger in 6th. Wilbrink in 7th with Matt Wright in 8th. Varga in 9th with Schwarbert in 10th. Flop in 11th. Ramsell in 12th. Anderson 13th. Lee 14th. Smith 15th. And Marsden bringing up the rear. So an interesting third and final race is ahead of us. Greasy Bandits are back on pole, but with Hibbs at the wheel. Guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. And also, while you're at it, have a look at our fantastic sponsors as well. Design Manchester and Audio Sport. Give them a follow, a like, and subscribe to all their channels as well. As we look forward to another fun night's worth of racing and another week long of racing here at COTA Pro-Am tomorrow night, bringing you all the action as they come down to the wire. I have a quick look of who's in that one. Excuse me. Benny Varga leading that championship, 149 points ahead of Lino in that second place position. And regarding the bronze, Betterson is 116 in that one. Regarding the pro category, the gold class, Vitus is leading in that one, 87 points ahead of Cairns, and then Langley in that P3 position. Pro-Am drivers, teams championship is Team Audio Sport leading ahead of the SimPlay Racing guys, 54 points separating them. So still all to play for in the teams there. And I think that is Leach and Millington trying to chase down Williams and Taylor in the championship. And regarding pro, Silth versus Rosowski versus Rook for the top 3. O'Reilly, Schmidt and Davis now kind of pretty much out of it. They can still score some points, but we'll see how that goes. And MSA leading 118 points ahead of Team Audio Sport, all still to play for as well. Alright, here we go. Third and final race. Hibbs is on pole with Harris alongside him. Who is going to win this one? Get your votes in the chat as we're about to get underway here for the third and final time here at COTA for the Whodarron Cup. And we are green and go, racing in COTA. Mezin doesn't think to go up the inside. He defends the middle of the circuit instead as Harris tries to keep the position ahead of Mezin. And around the outside goes Harris, and he keeps hold of the position. And Hibbs gets the start he would have wanted. Mezin, meanwhile, has to defend from Post, who's gone up the inside of him. And Post now looking quite racy with Mezin. As they head into the S's, Post and Mezin. Mezin might have to give the position up. He's going to try and keep his nose there. And he does. They keep close, but they make slight contact. And Maiger now going up the inside. And Maiger going up the inside, and asking to let the Monster have a look down the inside as well. But Maiger now going on the attack of Post. He's going to try and go around the outside, but he's not close enough. Mezin there, though, as the two in front pull away. But a good start there from Post and Maiger. Meanwhile, Harris and Hibbs disappeared down the road, where everyone else is too busy racing one another. Marsden with damage, as is Smith as well. So they've got major damage. Lee's involved as well. And, oh, Mezin makes contact there with Wilbrink, I think. So, DeMonster, Mezin, Wilbrink, and now Matt Wright comes through. So, Mezin dropping down the order. Here comes Varga with the run. We go momentarily 4 wide. Now we're going to go maybe 3 wide. Mezin in the toe. He's looking left. He's looking right. Ramsell's looking down the inside. I think someone's going to miss their brakes. And they have. Big time. Big crash. Multiple cars involved. Ramsell, Flop, Schwarber, all those guys getting involved. And Mezin in the middle. All that drops to the back of this group. Vargas there. Mezin's trying to go around the outside of the lot so he can still hang in there. But in the end, it is Hibbs who leads the way. Ahead of Harris, ahead of Post, ahead of Maiga. Then it's the Monster. Matt Wright got caught up in all that as well. So the Monster ahead of... I don't know. Wilbrink is there now. And I believe Anderson. Yeah, Anderson's up there as well. So after all the chaos of that, it's Smith who's leading this gaggle of cars. And just absolute drama. And down the inside goes Mezin on Smith. And Ramsell once again. What on earth is happening here? But Maiga says fast lap of the race, and already Post and Hibbs and Harris, too busy racing one another, has allowed Post and Maiga to catch them very quickly indeed. And Maiga now right on the back bumper of Post. Post obviously wanting as many points as he possibly can going into the final race at Donington to make sure he has a bigger advantage as he possibly can, with O'Reilly not being here. Oh, Flop's had a moment. Mezin's going to go through, I think. Oh, contact made. And Flop gets pushed out wide there. I think, to be fair, Flop was a bit all over the shot there and kind of turned in on Mezin. So, really, Mezin didn't really do anything wrong there, in my opinion. I think Flop has got some major problems with that car and is really struggling here. Varga, meanwhile, just on the back of this group. But, yeah, Mazda back in front of Ramsell. So, Ramsell's had a horrific race here. But Anderson up in 7th place position. Good points here. But Hibbs still leads this race though, ahead of Harris, ahead of Post, and ahead of Maiga. These four are going to go at it right to the very end, and hopefully the Monster is going to get involved as well. Wilbrink is not too far behind, and Anderson scoring big. Flop, I don't know why it's jumped suddenly to Flop, but Anderson now making sure he stays ahead of Mezin, but Matt Wright's on the move. Flop dropping now behind Varga, and Schwarbert now looking to catch him as well. As I think Varga for a moment had Schwarbert looking up the inside. Sorry, Flop, I mean. So Flop losing a position there. And Smith has gone off. He's gone off big time there. Not sure what's happened there. But Maiga now is still on the back of the four ahead, and Hibbs sets fastest lap of the race. But Harris kind of just towing him along, pushing him along. And I know Harris, any opportunity he can win a race, he'll probably take it. But at the same time, he wants his good friend Hibbs to obviously get a win, possibly for himself as well. But he won't want to lose to Post. As Post now onto the back of these two. Harris in the championship, he's 174 points behind, so he's really just looking to try and get himself back into the podium positions without scoring Schwarbert. Hibbs is his actual championship rival at the minute, funny enough. So yeah, that's really where the fights are going to be happening regarding the championship. So these four all kind of close to one are in the championship. The Monster sets fastest lap of the race. Mezin trying to bit by bit hunt down Anderson, and Matt Wright is trying to go with him, and then everyone else following behind. Smith obviously had major damage. He's come back into pit lane as Ramsell tries to hunt down Marsden. But Hibbs, though, still leading this one. Harris right behind him. Meanwhile, Maiga is going on the attack of Post as they head to the left-hander. And Post tries to outbrake Maiga, and he will get to the corner first, but he does go too deep. Maiga's going to be on the wrong side of the circuit. And Post is going to hold on to that position, but as he got a bit too deep, as he got a bit too wide, Maiga gets the momentum, but loses the traction on the rear end. And he's going to have to try and go all the way around the outside, but he's not going to get the job done there, and he have to hold off the position. That just lets Hibbs and Harris off the hook momentarily as they just pull away slightly. The Monster, meanwhile, is also starting to catch him. 2.3 was the gap, the last split they went through. Now they've been racing a little bit hard through the S's. That gap is going to come down. Obviously, Apex Motorsport gaining more points here with Will Brink up into P6. As the Monster now crosses the line, it was 2.3. It's now 2 seconds. So the gap came down, but not significantly enough. As Hibb continues up the hill to lead this one. Mezin, meanwhile, fastest lap of the race and looks to try and hunt down Anderson. The gap is 4.7. We'll keep an eye on that gap towards the end of this one. And Schwarber getting close to Flop, as Ramsell also getting closer to Marsden. But Harris, though, still behind Hibbs. And they're still ahead of Post and Maiga. This is really your closest scrap at the minute, is Maiga versus Post at the minute. But meanwhile, we continue back to the action, and Hibbs still at the minute got the gap to Harris, but Harris is in the tow. Hibbs thinking he might have to defend, heading to the left-hander. Mezin slowly, bit by bit, starting to catch Anderson. 4.4 is the gap. Meanwhile, the Autobahn United cars going at it again, and Ramsell gets a drive through. Track limits for him once again. I think he just got on the back of Marsden. Yeah, he did. And Marsden gone wide. Meanwhile, the two Autobahn United cars, you can see Flop, I think, has got more damage than Schwarber. And Schwarber will go up the inside. Oh, and he loses. He's moving around the back end a lot. And, yeah, Flop is going to lose out to Schwarber, I think. Which one's got the more damage? Try to figure out which one's got more damage. Schwarber has got more damage. So Flop is trying to gain on Schwarber. So just from the middle sector alone, Mezin has brought the gap down to 3.6 to Anderson. So that's a second just through there. Hibbs now got fastest lap of the race once again. So Hibbs getting back himself into a flow. Here comes Mezin. The gap was 3.6, it's now 2.5, so he's gained 2 seconds just on that lap on Anderson. So Mezin can get himself possibly, it's going to be a bit of a stretch, but he could get himself into the top 6. The Monster, meanwhile, was looking a bit quicker, but he's actually dropped off the pace of Maiga, Post and the leaders. So it's really just down to Hibbs and Harris now leading this one. As they're going to scrap right to the very end here. Will Harris be cheeky and try and send it on the last? Anderson there looks like he's had a moment. He's not only just lost out to Mezin, he's lost out to Matt Wright as well. So Mezin up to 7th place position. 7.5 is the gap to Will Brink. And with 9 minutes left to go, if he's lapping that much faster, what was... let's have a quick look at the lap times from Will Brink. So his previous lap was a 24.4. That was his best. While Mezin's last lap was a 23.7. So he's near enough 1 second a lap faster than him. So Mezin 1 second a lap with 8 laps in this is not going to be enough. If anything, he's lost time there through the first sector, so, or the second sector anyway. So a lot of work for Mezin to do. I think 7th is the best that he can probably do here. Hibbs, meanwhile, still holding off Harris at this moment. I think Harris is just holding off anyone else behind. Harris has had a couple of race wins this season. I think he might be giving the opportunity for Hibbs to have his first win of the season. Not only does he get his first podium, he could be on the brink of his first win this season. What a time to do it towards the end of the season. That's another new livery I'll need to make on the ACC PC. Thanks, Hibbs. Yeah, Mezin's not catching Wilbrink. He's ended up being a tenth slower that time across that sector. So damage possibly. Obviously, he got hit quite hard from the rear, let alone setting the fastest lap of the race in general. But I think that damage is now probably going to start taking to effect. Matt Wright drifting in turn 1 as Schwarber and Flop still going at it for the Autobahn United guys. They're going to take second in the championship for the teams, so that's good for them as well. So good points for them available. As Hibbs and Harris still your closest fight at the minute, but I don't really see it being a fight. I see them kind of just holding station. If anyone's really gaining on anyone at the minute, it's Wilbrink onto the back of De Munster. But again, he's not closing fast enough. Obviously, we got the final round of the season yet to come. We're heading to Donington Park, the home of SimPlay Motorsport, for the final round of the season. And the way the weather's been in the last, well, especially yesterday, knocked my power out. That's how bad the weather's been. I think it was the weather. I don't know. I think it's probably just terrible Cornish electrics. Who knows? But the way the weather's looking at the minute here in the United Kingdom, it could be a wet one. It could be dry. It could be absolutely anything. All I know is it's going to be colder than normal. And I hope that O'Reilly and Silth will be able to make the final race, as it will make the final race of the season more interesting. And we shall see where they finish in that one. But Post will leave COTA here, championship leader, unless he has something drastic happen here and De Munster outscores him. I think I just broke my thing. Maybe Benny was right about Wreckfest. Maybe. Speaking of Benny, he's currently 10th at the minute, trying to hunt down Anderson. Anderson, meanwhile, actually is coming back at Matt Wright. And again, Madison not really brought the gap down to Wilbrink. If anything, Wilbrink is being chasing down De Munster, he's chasing down Maiger towards the end of this session. So possible fights towards the end. We've got a yellow flag. That is the 105. That is Smith. He's returned to pit lane. And Anderson once again gaining some big points in this one. 95 it was separated between him and Marsden. And going into the final round, they would be quite close in the championship. Maiger's going to leave here with a bit more points advantage over Wilbrink, unless Wilbrink can catch him down. So all still to play for. And regarding the teams as well, I think Autobahn United will get close to MSA. Not nearly enough as they probably would have wanted. Meanwhile, coming towards the end of this race, Harris is a lot closer to Hibbs. Is Harris now thinking, right, Hibbs, you've had your fun. You've enjoyed the lead of this race. Now it's my turn to come back at you and try and nick a race win. Mez is not going to make it 3 for 3. will start doing a poll for driver of the day. The Hibbs, of course, is one to add to that one. I said Harris gets close, but not really close enough. The Monster now much closer to Maiga. If anything's going to happen, it's going to happen here. And the Monster is closed. I'm going to change one of these actually. I'm going to change that to that, I think. Obviously, you don't have to agree with me in the chat. You can write in the chat who you think deserves this one. Harris did get close to Hibbs, but in the end just dropped back a little bit by the looks of things. We are going to get 8 laps here, so Mezin, once again, just not bringing the gap down to Wilbrink. If anything, Wilbrink is extending the gap. But Maiga here, under some pressure. Maiga trying to hold off the Monster here. Wants to get as many points as he possibly can going into the final race. And again, Harris gets close, but Hibbs seems to have him covered off at this moment in time. We'll stay on board of him. He's in the slipstream. He's in the tow. And if you're that close, you would usually send it into turn, into the left-hander. But he's not going to. He's got back in the tow. Will the Monster get close enough? He's not. And Wilbrink is closer as well. So fight's happening just at the end here. Mezin in the end, yeah, he's lost time. He's now 8.7 behind Wilbrink, so he's lost time to the guys in front. Marsden now onto the back of Flop. That's how much Flop has lost out on damage. So Flop has just been struggling to the end of this one. But Harris is getting close. We're going to start the final lap here. Once again, like I said, the Monster was looking to attack Maiga, and if anything, now Wilbrink's attacking him. So Hibbs will now start his final lap here at COTA. And how mean is Harris going to be? He's had a couple of wins this season. He had a double win in Kyalami. He had a win previously to that. As they head up towards turn number 1, Hibbs goes defensive. And Harris gets a little too much curb. He loses the back end of his M2 and won't be able to mount an attack right now. Wilbrink gets close to the back of the Monster. But again, the Monster holds him off. Flop and Marsden close. There's 0.2 of a second separating them. And through the S's, there you go. Into the final half of this final lap here, and Harris now looking racy on the back of Hibbs. Has he just been sat there building the gap to post, ready to just have an attack at the end? Get your votes in on driver of the day, guys. Currently going the way of Hibbs at this moment in time, but he's going defensive at the minute. Don't weave too much as Hibbs and Harris go at it for the final time tonight here at COTA for the Whodarron Cup into the braking zone of the left-hander. And Harris is attacking. He's not close enough. Everyone else line astern at the minute. Marsden's had another moment. He's dropped further back to Flop. And the Monster was a little bit slow through the left-hander, but we look to your leaders. It's Hibbs versus Harris. Excuse me. But who's it going to be? Harris going to push him right to the very end. But I think Hibbs might have held off. Harris takes too much curb and gets sideways there right at the end. But into the penultimate corner, into the final corner. And it's going away with Greasy Bandits Racing. And it's going away of Hibbs. Hibbs wins the final race of the evening. He finally gets a win on the board. Harris gets second. Post will finish third and leaves COTA in the lead of the championship. Maiga gets fourth. The Monster fifth. Sixth is Will Brink. Mezin will cross the line with the fastest lap and will finish in 7th place position. Matt Wright coming home in 8th place position. Anderson goes wide. Is that allowed? Varga through Anderson. He needs the points he can get. He'll go ahead and finish in 10th ahead of Varga. Schwarber is going to finish 11th. Flop is going to finish in 12th. Marsden is going to finish in 13th. Lee all the way down in 14th. Ramsell retired, as did Smith. But Hibbs and Harris towards the end, a great little scrap for them. There is Schwarber coming into the final corner. I think he's waiting for Flop. He is indeed. Into the final few corners they come. And the Autumn United guys cross the line. 11th and 12th. Marston 13th. Lee is going to finish 14th. And that is that. We're going to go to the replays. We're going to be right back as we'll have some interviews very shortly. And yeah, we'll be back in a few. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And before we get into the interviews really quickly, actually I won't get into the interviews. I will wait for the tables to be updated first, and then we'll get back to that, I'm afraid. But we do have a couple of the guys in the comms box with us, and an interesting one is a logo that I've just seen on one of the drivers, and I did not know that, so that's interesting. But we'll start with we'll start with the FBR boy that is Harris. And Harris, another night of good points and good results for yourself here this evening. And again, like I said, just these M2s just seem to be coming alive for you towards the end of the season. Just seem anything really click with you, or is it just the enjoyment of racing these cars towards the end?
I don't really know, to be honest. The cars, to be honest, they're just fantastic to drive. They're a right laugh. Obviously, you got to keep the momentum going in them. As soon as you see somebody obviously have a little bit of a wiggle or whatever, you know you've got half a chance. But yeah, the form's really come on pretty strong, especially in the past couple of weeks. So yeah, but tonight I wasn't quite able to get that top spot, but a couple of podiums and fourth place, I think it was. But I thoroughly enjoyed myself tonight. Huge congrats to Hibbs, obviously getting a podium and a win, and also a pole position, which I wasn't expecting. So yeah, hats off to him tonight.
Obviously, talking about that final race, you were pretty much sat on his bumper for pretty much most of that. Was that genuine pace, or was you just kind of toying with him, or was that you genuinely trying to get him towards the end?
First few laps was just making sure we got through cleanly. Obviously, there was a little bit of argy behind, and then obviously throughout the race, I just kind of got into the zone of where he was braking, I was braking, and then I realised what the time was, snapped out of it. I was like, right, let's actually give this a go. But no, honestly, I didn't really see any mistakes from him in that last race. So yeah, wasn't really going to get in front of him. If I had, it probably would have ended in a bad way. I didn't want that.
Obviously, the final race of the season. Obviously, not really much for you to go for in the championship. It's actually tight between yourself and Hibbs in the championship. From what I can see, it's less than 5 points separating you two. No, not 5 points. Sorry, I can't read. It's like 40 points separating you. Obviously, there's quite a lot of points available in the M2s. Donington Park, obviously, being in the UK, you know what the weather's been like here recently. What's your feelings going there, and what's your thoughts going into the final race of the season?
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it in these M2s, especially. Obviously, good little cars to drive. Donington Park's probably is everybody's favourite track in the game. See, it's our home circuit, so yeah, we'll just see how twitchy the back end gets, I guess, and then we'll go from there.
Let's see how wet it gets as well. Proper touring S style.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we do have a bit of rain. That would be nice. I do like the rain.
Oh, so do I. It should be entertaining. Nonetheless, mate, congratulations on a great night, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much. See you there.
We do have, actually, quickly, one of the bronze drivers in with us. We have Anderson. Anderson, obviously, another solid night worth of points for yourself. The week before in Kyalami, you looked quite competitive, especially in the wet. You look just as competitive here. The bronze coming down to the wire between you and Marsden. You think you got this? The 83 points separating you two. Do you think you can take it right to the very end?
I wish. I think, unfortunately, the championship's over and done. Don't know if there's enough races left for me to do it, unfortunately. So I'll give it my best through to the final race. Wee bit upset about race 2, got spun out during the race, not sure who with, but I was a wee bit unhappy about that. But say la vie, you know, I got my 2 class wins for race 1 and race 3, so yeah, happy with tonight. Don't know why I got driver of the day, so thanks very much for everybody that voted as well.
I think the poll is still out at the minute, so we'll have to... Yeah, still go. Yeah, you still got it at the minute. 13 votes going away with you at the minute, so fair play. Obviously, I'm just trying to think. I believe this is your first season with SimPlay. If so, how are you finding it here, and are you looking forward to making a return next season?
Yeah, it's been super competitive, and definitely a lot of time and effort needs to get put in before a race. You can't just sort of turn up with other events that I've sort of partaken in. A couple of good guys that sort of helped me along the way. The rest of the boys in the Momentum Motorsport team. There's a lot of practice that goes on amongst a lot of us. A lot of help, a lot of hints, a lot of tips, a lot of learning. First time really driving an M2, and as you say, first time at SimPlay. And yeah, really looking forward to next season as well.
Are you racing the GT3s in the Pro-Am or not? I can't remember.
No, unfortunately not. No, just the M2s this season. It's one series for me. We'll see what the Whodarron brings up. I like these M2s. I think they've been fun. I do like the GT3s, but I like something a bit different as well.
Fair enough. Going into the final round, Donington Park, what do you think of the circuit? And are you doing a rain dance as well?
I am praying for rain. Yeah, looking forward to it. Be plenty of practice over the next few days anyway, after the boys are out tomorrow and Thursday. So once the server resets, yeah, it'll be a lot of time spent in there and definitely doing the rain dance.
Well, nice to see you in the chat, and best of luck to you in the final round of the season, mate.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for having me. Cheers.
And now we look to your race winners of the evening. We'll start with the most recent race winner. They say they come in threes, Hibbs, and bang, 1, 2, 3, here they came. It was podium, pole position and race win, one after the other. What a drive from yourself this evening. You've got to be proud of yourself with that one.
Proud and shocked. I don't really know where that came from, but you know, I like the M2s; they're good fun. But yeah, I don't know where the pace came from. I think a bit of luck for me. You know, obviously the lobby was a bit light on drivers for one, but yeah, it's good fun, and you know, I had good pace all evening. So yeah, pretty happy with that.
Got to be in it to win it. That's what I've always been told. So and you were in it.
Yep.
You did win it. And again, a quick mention of these M2s that you said you seem to enjoy them. They seem to be a very good championship car, don't they? A single series, very touring car-esque. You can really go wheel to wheel with people with these cars, can't you?
Yeah, and as you know, the GT3s in this game, you have the slightest bit of contact and somebody's flying off.
Yeah.
But yeah, these you can sort of lean on each other and it's a bit more forgiving. But yeah, they're a brilliant car. You know, very loose. Like Harris said, it's a case of trying to keep your speed and not shed too much through the corners because it's not got the power to buy out of them. But yeah, they're brilliant fun. I love them.
Final round of the season, Donington Park, very touring car circuit. Praying for rain, or are you just looking forward to going and enjoying yourself for the final race of the season?
I'm not too fussed either way. I didn't start playing this game much before joining SimPlay, and I think I've done about 2 or 3 races in the rain. One of which was Spa, where I shocked myself. You know, I was surprisingly quick, and I thought that was weird. Perhaps I'm good in the rain. And then we had the rain at Kyalami, and I dropped back to nowhere. So yeah, I'm not too fussed either way. I think I'll either be pacey or I won't. But yeah, I'll have fun wherever I am.
Well, nonetheless, mate, congratulations on the pole position, the race win, and the podium tonight. It's a fantastic job from you this evening.
Thank you very much.
And now we move to your 2-time winner this evening and been absolutely dominant for most of the night except for the final race. Mezin, nice to see you in the chat. I think it's the first time I've spoken to you this season, but more importantly, I've seen a very interesting picture on your Discord. An interesting signing by the looks of things. But other than that, a fantastic night's worth of racing for yourself. A race win in 1 and 2. Is Circuit of the Americas a circuit you tend to enjoy?
Hi, Don. Thank you for your warm words. I'm not sure about this. I will say I enjoy most of the circuits in ACC, and it's my second time on this circuit, actually.
Oh, very nice. Obviously, a quick word from yourself. You've been very fast this season in these M2s, even from the first moment we saw you at Autumn Park. Is it a type of car that you tend to enjoy racing in?
Thank you, Dan. It's my first championship on M2, but yeah, it's a great car. I love everything about it. I also love the idea of monoclass championship where you have same potential in the car as everybody in the grid. And yeah, I've done only 3 cars in this game in Assetto Corsa. It's Mercedes, Ford, and BMW too.
Going into the final round of the season, we head to Donington Park, and the way the British weather is at the minute, it could rain, it couldn't. Are you not fussed either way, or are you hoping it to be dry?
I don't mind. It's a matter of my preparation. I like rain. I like, everybody has same condition anyway. And yeah, I will just make sure to prepare properly for the rain and for the dry. And I'm looking forward for this last stage. I'm excited.
And obviously your first season with us here at SimPlay Motorsport. Have you enjoyed yourself? Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's absolutely great. Using the opportunity, I must say thank you to all the organization and the way it's been conducted. It's just amazing. Really high standard, been treated really responsibly. Everything as it should be, and it's pure pleasure to race like that when you know you can rely on organization. You know you can really plan 3 months ahead for every stage or whatever. 3 months? No, it was 2 months, I think. Yeah. And yeah, everything was great. So thank you.
And congratulations on the race win, 2 race wins tonight. And we'll see you next week at Donington.
Yep. See you next week. Thank you, Dan.
And that is it from all the drivers in the interview room, and a bit of an echo there from my end. I don't know if you guys heard it in the stream, but either way, we had Mezin and Hibbs taking race wins this evening. And regarding the championship standings, it looks like this. Post leads the way with 47 points ahead of De Monster in second place. Third place goes the way of Kieran O'Reilly, Schwarber in fourth, Hibbs in fifth, Harris in sixth, with McGowan in seventh, Wilbrink leading silver in eighth, and it's Flop in ninth, Silth in 10th, and with the amount of races he's lost out, he may be knocked out in the first race. Then we've got Maiger in 11th, Skunky 12th, Mezin 13th, Ramsel 14th, Varga 15th, Marston 16th, Anderson 17th, Gorski 18th, Crespo 19th, Matt Wright 20th, Nugamanov 21st, Aberdeen 22nd, Lee 23rd, Smith 24th, Gillies 25th, Shorski 25th, Millington 26th, Paro 28th, Jacket 29th, Johnson 30th, Raddick 31st, Crack 32nd, and O finishing in 33rd. Silver is the way of Wilbrink versus Maiger going into the final race. Varga is still mathematically in it, but I doubt he will be able to really stand a chance. 36 points if Wilbrink outscores him, and he will lose his chance. Marston versus Anderson for bronze. That's only 83 points separating those two, but gold, it is down to Post, De Monster, O'Reilly, and possibly Schwarbert as well. And regarding the teams, Apex Motorsport leave COTA leading the championship ahead of Autobahn United in second, MSA dropping to third, the Casuals in fourth, Only Side is still mathematically in it, but again 99 points outscored and they are out of the championship. Greasy Bandits in sixth with GBU Racing in 7th, then it's SimPlay Racing in 8th, Team FBGB in 9th, Kozik Racing in 10th, Soldor in 11th, Minix Racing in 12th, Quantum Motorsport 13th, Billy No Mates 14th, and Balkan Sim Hub in 15th. That is it for the M2s. We'll be back for racing action for these guys next time out at Donington Park. Make sure you tune in for that one. Anderson got driver of the day, but for me, it has to go the way of Hibbs. He's been fantastic here this evening, and we'll see how they all get on at Donington Park. Is it going to rain? Is it not? That's the question. But for myself and the Whodarron Cup, it comes down to the wire. 4 possibly for the championship. Who's going to take it at Donington? We'll see you then. Good night.